Hey everybody, so happy you could join me today on this latest installment, episode number 67 of the Road to NBA 2K21 series here on the PlayStation 5. Continuing on with my first season in the Big Apple with Ferran and Cade Cunningham. The Knicks are currently 10-17 on the season, definitely below expectations, sitting at 12th in the Eastern Conference. Our defense is letting up nearly 110 points a night, and we haven't won back-to-back games the entire season. But last episode, we started showing improvement and hung around with some of the better teams in the league, barely missing wins against Chicago and Boston. The chemistry is starting to rise in this bunch, you can really feel it. And with Julius Randle making his return to the lineup today after missing 3 weeks with a knee injury, hopefully this will be the episode where we start to gain some traction and turn this season around, because we are indeed running out of time for sure. We haven't checked in on Donnie or Deshaun in a while, so let's do just that before hopping into the first game of the episode, and as you'll see, it's a pretty big one. While there's been some turbulence for us New York Knicks, Dallas and Portland are churning out win after win, with Deshaun's Mavs standing at second in the Western Conference. It's your typical Deshaun season, a high 3-point percentage and rebound rates, and he's pacing to have a career high in rejections here in his 6th NBA season. And Donnie, on the other hand, is putting together something special here in his 6th NBA campaign. Portland has been so close time and time again to winning an NBA ring, and with Donnie's contract expiring, this may be his last dance, and he's playing like it. He's a 20-a-night scorer and leads the entire league in rebounds and block shots. He's already won DPOY once in his career. This might be number 2 as Portland sits with the best record in the entire association. In fact, Donovan actually had a new career high against us last episode. This was a simulated game to bring us our 17th loss, and Donovan put the Blazers on his back. A new career high, 44 points from my hometown buddy with 8 rebounds, 6 made tray balls, and then another loss. That's 2 straight against Brooklyn to begin this season, as Julius Randle made his return in this one, only 8 points for him, coming off the bench. However, in the next ball game, he'll be back in the starting lineup. Kyrie led all scorers with 27, and like I said, this is a huge game back at home against my former team, the Pelicans, who also aren't doing very hot in this season. Looks like they're missing me a decent amount. As you can see in the background there, RJ Barrett joins the Pelicans. He was in my trade, and he's actually missed most of the season too. RJ's averaging 15.5 points, but he's only played 6 games on the season, so he's missed a lot of time too, just like Julius Randle. As we get things underway here, as Kira Lewis, my replacement, will dish it off to the unibrow. So many assists over the years to Anthony Davis, but now it's a different guy feeding him the ball. 22 points a game for Anthony Davis, which is lower actually than any season that he averaged points whenever I was feeding him the rock. So maybe he's not playing as well because I'm not dishing him the ball anymore. Nice little pull-up J there on top of Kira Lewis on this possession, up by 3 already. Mitchell Robinson gets us a second attempt at it as Ferran, he fades to the corner to catch and fire. It was my first assist against my former team, and this is definitely a game I have to show out in. And with All-Star Weekend rapidly approaching, Ferran number 2 in the 3-point contest race, no surprise there, as in this season I'm trying to make it 2 straight All-Star selections. Hopefully I can make the cut this year like I did last year. A little bit of an awkward possession here, but at the elbow I lose Kira Lewis for my 3rd field goal off the teardrop. Having a very active first quarter against my replacement Lewis. As we jump to the second quarter, now keep an eye on Julius Randle on this play. Look at him busting his butt to get the ball. And this was just a very confident shot here by the rookie. You love to see it from Cade Cunningham. As in this episode, Cunningham and Randle both really started to shine. They've both been struggling this season, but after this episode, you'll see that we really are trending in the right direction. There's Kira Lewis, though, putting me on his personal highlight reel. I remember last year I was trying to nurture Kira Lewis a little bit, had him under my wing there for last season, and he showed out in the playoffs. A big reason why we made the finals was his performance off the bench. And now he's using the skills I taught him to go to battle against me, but he can't knock down the free throw, as on this possession, Julius Randle takes a very confident 3-point shot, moving to his right off balance, and he knocks it through. All right, New York looking very dangerous here in the first half of this ball game, as the lead swells up to a dozen. A 12-point advantage for the Knicks as RJ brings it up the other way. He's been a little bit quiet, but there's a nice lob to the brow. I've thrown so many of those to him over the years, and I took a little bit of an exception to that. I mean, hey, if you want to lob the brow like I used to, Let's see how you like it when we bring it right back up in your face. Julius Randle off the roll. You can tell he's back to be back in the starting lineup after 3 weeks of inactivity. Let's jump to the second half of action now as Cade tries to go one-on-one in the post against RJ. Nothing doing this time, so he kind of seals off my man. RJ comes to help, and that's a nice little drop-off pass for assist number 5 here in the ball game. 66-49, making some more progress here in the second half of action. Anthony Davis has been clamped up by Julius Randle. One of the best games, probably the best, he's played all season long. And how about a no-look pass to do it on both ends? Julius Randle taunting Anthony Davis as well at the end of that play. Anthony Davis, he's put together so many memorable years in New Orleans with me, but today it's been all Julius Randle when it comes to that matchup down on the low block. So now we're in the fourth quarter. This game well out of reach, so now I want to try to show out a little bit. Only 12-7, but a little bit of swagger behind that jump shot there. A little flick of the wrist to give me 14 on the night, making Kira Lewis look a little bit silly on that possession here. Now RJ continues to struggle, one of the many Pelicans players who has not mustered much of an offensive threat. Another 3 is off the mark for the boys in the red jerseys. Now coming back the other way, let's make it 2 in a row. How about a move to clear out in the heart of the paint? And one, making Kira Lewis look silly on this double move. I use my offhand to create some space, and at that point when I got my shoulders past Lewis, all I had to worry about was RJ Barrett at the rim. No problems there. Cade gives me a little bit of dap. And Knicks looking very scary here tonight. This is really the first time since opening night that we've really blown out anybody. After the win against the Pistons, we beat them by almost 30 on opening night, as the bench checks in with me, including Boban Marjanovic, who you might see more of going forward. I throw a little bounce pass to Boban, and he finishes. He doesn't play much so far in this season, but with our rebounding struggles, there he is grabbing one right there, speak of the devil. He might be our primary backup center going forward as we cut back to the action. This game well in hand of the Knicks, and only because I was playing the Pelicans, I feel like I made that shot. If that was against any other team, no way that would have went in, but that gives me 21 on the night. 2 assists away from a 20-10 game against my former team, really showing out for the organization who turned its back on me as we continue to do work here at the end of the game. Crisp bounce pass, pick and pop with Obi Toppin, who moves back to the bench after very serviceable play for the last 3 weeks in Randle's absence. But he is a very key guy to have off the bench. 12 points per game for Obi Toppin this season, and he's also a 40% three-point shooter for the second-year pro out at Dayton. As now Frank Mason checks in. I don't think he's played all season long, so guess what? Let me get him an assist as well, going backdoor. A very fun night here in New York. Everybody showing out, all hands on deck, as this was nearly a 30-point win for the New York Knicks against my former team. I'm so glad we had such a great team win against the franchise who really did me wrong in their last offseason. 123-95 is your final. And I know we talked a lot about the offense tonight, but holding the Pelicans under 40% tonight as a team and not even letting them get to 100 points as a team. One of the better defensive performances we've had all season long. You can see in the box score, everybody making a contribution. Ferran only had 9. He really didn't have to do too much. Obi Toppin with his best performance of his second NBA season. Randle with a double-double. He was kicking Anthony Davis's butt there for a while. Davis had a pretty solid fourth quarter to make amends a little bit, but for the most part, he was under 50% shooting. And Kira Lewis, 11 and 8 in a little rematch. The very next game out on the hardwood, we improved to 11 and 17 with the win over my former team, and facing the 14 and 12 Philadelphia 76ers up on the menu for us next. And Philadelphia is a very tough team. Don't let the record fool you. They've also had some injuries as well, as this is a team I'm very familiar with. I remember in the first NBA Finals I ever played in back in Season 3, Philly beat us pretty good in the last couple of games that series whenever I was on the Pelicans. Came close a couple times, but the last 2 games were not very competitive and they beat us pretty good. So, This is a bit of a personal rivalry for myself, as I did not begin this game very well. Actually, in the first quarter, I failed to get on the scoreboard, and I also recorded 3 turnovers as well. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid, it was pretty clear to see from the opening tip that this was going to be a career night for the big guy. And I mean, we're already more than approaching 4 minutes in the ball game, and we don't even have a single basket, and that continues with this Ferran-ness. I mean, we scored 123 on the Pelicans just last night. Meanwhile, we're getting dogged to not even getting on the scoreboard, as calling timeout is Coach Tom Thibodeau, and this has kind of been a conundrum for the entire season. It's always 1 step forward, 2 steps back for this team. Now 9-0 as we're almost halfway through the first quarter without a field goal made in the entire ball game. 3 seconds ago in this possession, it's another ugly one as I pull up from the free throw line extended. Good contest by Simmons, and Randle gets it back, but he is punished at the rim by Joel Embiid. The 76ers have a top 3 defense, and they're also top 3 in the entire association in blocks per game. You may not expect it, but we actually have a lot at stake tonight. For one, we're searching for our first win within the division. So Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Boston, and Toronto, we're 0-9 against those teams this season as Tobias Harris. If he jammed that down, that would have hurt my confidence a lot. Luckily, he missed the lob, and Ferran, come on, go in. Yes, up the other side of the floor, Ferran makes the defense pay. It doesn't even look like we got off the bus yet so far. Meanwhile, Philadelphia having no problems on offense for themselves. And another thing that's at stake tonight is we haven't had a winning streak this entire season. We haven't won back-to-back games as Mitch goes backdoor off the pick and roll. And with me struggling so much in the output of this ball game thus far, I was really thinking back to the final series a couple seasons ago. I remember the first couple games were a little rough for me as I picked the pocket of Embiid, and I also feed Ferran in the same spot. There's 2 in a row for Ferran, as now we score 7 unanswered to get back into the ball game. And I was just thinking, like, what can I emulate from that final series a couple seasons ago to implement into this game, because Simmons is one of the toughest guys to go up against in terms of the offensive side of the floor. And I was just thinking, I gotta be very selective in my approach. Philadelphia is very good at stopping what I do best, finding lanes into the painted area, and I pick my spot perfectly there on the fast break. Matisse Thybulle is tagged for the foul. Refs won't let you play defense from behind. You'll get that call 9 times out of 10. And honestly, just being 1 step ahead of Simmons, being unpredictable, and not doing the same move twice tonight, all these things really helped me have a very good finals performance throughout the entire series 2 seasons ago. As now we jump to the second quarter, points still coming at a premium, 24-20, Philadelphia on top as we're nearly halfway through the second quarter of action. And here's another unpredictable play. How about a pick and pop by Obi Toppin? That was a designed play, and a very heads-up cerebral play by Toppin for popping, as Philadelphia, like I said, so good at guarding the key. Top 3 in blocks per game as a team, as here we go with a pull-up J. More screen and roll offense for the Knicks as we're back within a single bucket. And both sides are really struggling to tread above water, above 30% tonight. It's really been an ugly game, but Embiid doing work down low. We have nobody who can really cover him outside of Mitch, and you're seeing why Boban Marjanovic might be a bigger part of the rotation moving forward, as Embiid has 14 of his 16 in the second quarter. As here he goes to work again. This time I'm forced to bring help, and I commit the reach and foul. And just lacking a backup center, we can't really have Omari Spellman or Obi Toppin on a guy like Embiid off the bench. And as we head to the locker room, we're down by 11 in a very big game, trying to secure our first win against an Atlantic Division opponent and trying to make it our first back-to-back winning streak across the entirety of Season 5. Let's hop into it. The first possession for the orange and blue. Ferran with a little handoff to me, and I run Simmons into that screen perfectly. A little teardrop down low, and I've really recovered nicely after that nightmare of a first quarter. 10 points for me after doing nothing but recording 3 turnovers in the first quarter, as Ferran almost has it ripped here on this possession, but Ferran is so funny sometimes. He doesn't care. He doesn't waver. He will still knock down one of the longest threes I've ever seen from him to cut it to single digits. Now an 8-point deficit stares us in the face with about 8 minutes to go here in the third. Now running my man off of another screen. I missed Ferran there. He was wide open, but I was kind of upset with myself. I still want to get an assist on this possession, so I already see Mitch doing what he does best, being very hard to guard in the painted area. And there's another basket for our starting big fella, 49-41. It's crazy to see a game like this with not a lot of scoring after we averaged so many points, but Philadelphia continues to beat us bad on the glass today. That has been our Achilles heel. That offensive rebound by Shake Milton off of Embiid's miss makes it 10 more rebounds for Philadelphia than New York tonight. But we do secure a big one there. Mitch out-rebounds Simmons, who, keep in mind, Simmons averages 8 on the year as I give him a cross. Look at that dish off to Ferran, who is there in the short corner to receive it and put it up. Ferran knows better than anybody else to where to be to find passes from yours truly, and there's another assist to my hometown buddy, as this is the best we've looked all game long and really all season long. Really trying to make an impressive comeback effort against Philadelphia. 69-61, Tobias Harris down low, leaves it short as Austin Rivers continues to be a very valuable member to our bench. No look pass, Toppin, does he have another one? Yes, he does. Toppin continues to stay hot, and the lead shrinks down to 5 as the fourth quarter is right around the corner. 6 seconds left here in the third as Thibault feeds Embiid, and I'm bringing a trap once again. Me and Toppin do not knock Embiid off his stride. He still knocks it down over the double team. We'll head to the fourth quarter with a 7-point deficit, but the full court heave goes. Oh my goodness, but almost as a conundrum of sorts. It's just 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Of course, Embiid has to make that jump shot over the double team. And like I said, a conundrum for the entire season summed up into one play. A half-court heave falls for me, not even off the glass, but well after the buzzer. So, no help there from the half-court heave. 74-64 as the first possession of the final period of play. We shrink down the shot clock to a single second before getting a shot off, but Julius Randle again stays hot with another jump shot. So Ferran checks back in for our guys, and Simmons comes back to try to check me, but I think I caught him a little bit off guard here. Immediately off the inbound, Simmons cannot rotate over fast enough, and there is another basket. There's 12 and 8s for me on the ball game thus far. 76-68, Philadelphia with the possession. We're in desperate need of a stop, and guess what? Ferran would deliver that to us, sending Thibault's shot off of the backboard, and I put the moves on Thibault, change of direction, and I stay strong down low. There is a game-changing and one, and it was all thanks to Ferran pinning Thibault's shot off of the glass. Great job, Ferran, setting us up for this little snatch cross on Thibault. Got his feet all out of whack, all out of position, and Marcus Morris has to hack me from behind, but not hard enough apparently. And as after I knock down that free throw, I almost get those 3 points right back after getting that half-court heave off a little bit too late. Now only down by 3 as this place is going bananas. But guess what? Ferran always does his best whenever the odds are against him. Guess what? He quiets the crowd with this 3-pointer, running right behind me. A little flick of the wrist back to Ferran. 8 unanswered points for the orange and blue as we tie the game back up against the Philadelphia 76ers at 76. Kind of symbolic there. Philadelphia scores a basket, but Cade Cunningham gets deep into his bag. What does the rookie have in store against Tobias Harris? He knocks it down on top of the veteran. And you can tell our team chemistry is rising. That is a shot I would not have trusted Cade Cunningham taking a couple weeks ago, but we're really starting to hit our stride. But Simmons quiets us back down, brings us back down to earth as Philly retakes the lead by 3 now. 3:18 left to go in the ball game. Starting to get into the twilight of one of the biggest games of the entire season thus far. Inside the post to Cade Cunningham, puts a shoulder into Shake Milton. That is a mismatch that the rookie can take very good advantage of. And we are back within 1. You see at the bottom of your screen, a lot better field goal shooting for us than 76ers, but due to our turnover issues, including mine, we've taken a lot less shots than Philadelphia, and that's how they're back within 1. And now taking the lead, Philadelphia on top thanks to Tobias Harris for points 10 and 11. But look at the outlet pass right off the inbound. Julius Randle streaking. Touchdown, New York. as Randle beats Harris back up the floor. And big credit to Randle. You guys know I love throwing passes like that when the defense is not expecting it, right into the breadbasket. And New York takes an 85-84 lead. This game continues to be full of surprises with 90 seconds left to go. Harris tries to run the same play to no avail, and the ball reversal is covered beautifully by New York. 5 seconds to shoot. Thibault now will try to give it into Jackson Hayes, who's been filling in for Embiid, as Joel is gassed for all he's done through the first 3 quarters. But Thibault, we finally catch a break. He's unable to hit the 15-foot jump shot as I get into the paint, but Jackson Hayes, he records block number 3 of the fourth quarter, and he continues to play big minutes, filling the shoes and then some of Embiid. 85-84, 1 minute to go. The defense has been great in the fourth quarter, but now we need some baskets. Here comes Cade off the screen for the dagger, off the mark, but Robinson is there for the cleanup. Mitch comes through in a big way to put us up 3. Will this be our first winning streak of the season against a very good Philadelphia team as they enter the post to Tobias Harris? He'll try to deliver another one, no good, and look at me soaring up over Harris to grab the biggest rebound of the game, because if we can muster a basket here, it's bye-bye Philadelphia and hello to our first winning streak of season 5. I'm trapped down low off the screen. Randle with the pop. He delivers the dagger. Julius Randle, yes sir. He's been a completely different player since coming back from injury, and he continues to be red hot. Wow, what a game. A 6-point New York lead, and that would be all she wrote for tonight as we knock off a very good Philadelphia team on their home floor. Might not be the most impressive stat line, 13-5 for Julius Randle, but in terms of impact on this game, he really had his fingerprints all over this one. I finished with 17-12, 6 rebounds, and I'm actually averaging 6 rebounds on the season, so that would be a career high if the season ended today. Ferran led us with 21. Embiid had 24, but we didn't see much in the fourth quarter. I think he was just gassed for the impact he had through the first 3 quarters. We really couldn't stop him at all, as we also make it 3 straight with another pretty decent defensive performance. You can tell the Tom Thibodeau-led squad and his impact is starting to really show on this team. 11, 11, and 11 for your boy, recording triple-double, number 2 of my career and number 2 on the season, along with 3 steals against Zion Williamson and LaMelo Ball. But an old face, a familiar one, ends our winning streak there. Deshaun and his Dallas Mavericks, they hold us off there with a fourth quarter comeback bid that falls short, 120-111 in that one. But then 3 straight games, we're taking advantage of some pretty weak teams here, and probably my best game throughout the entire simulation period. 26 rather, 7-11 with 4 steals against the Detroit Pistons. And as you guys know, I always seem to play my best against the Pistons, and we always seem to do well, and it doesn't waver there. And then I also hold Jerome Clifford, my old college rival, to a whopping 0 points in a rematch against the Wizards, who were one of the better teams in the East this season, as I led all scorers as well. And then continuing on, we win 2, lose 2, and then we finish off simulating with a huge win. So back-to-back wins in the division, actually make it 3 with the Philadelphia win after starting out 0-9 against the Atlantic. And with this huge win over Brooklyn, it did just enough to lead us to this W at home. We improved to winning 10 out of our last 13, 10-3 in the month of February as the calendar turns to March, and we face a familiar face in Deshaun and the Dallas Mavericks, who sport the second best record in the Western Conference, a game and a half right behind Portland and Donovan Gray. And Deshaun, in the middle of another very impressive season, 19 points per game averaged, along with his nearly 2 blocks a game. And there I am, 16.5 points, down about an entire point from a season ago. Definitely going to have to work on my scoring a little bit if I want to make my second straight All-Star appearance, as Deshaun kicks us off there with second chance points. And I know I haven't talked a lot about the All-Star weekend and festivities, because I've just been so focused in getting this New York Knicks ship sailing in the right direction, but now we're starting to gain some traction, starting to play a lot better as I'm open for 3, and that one is pocketed. Very confident shot there, another great start for us. But now that we're starting to trend in the right direction, I think I can finally start focusing on my individual play a lot more, and hopefully making my second straight All-Star appearance moving forward as Ferran steps into one from the very same spot as last possession. 12-7 New York, as the Knicks offense is taking control early here against Dallas, against one of the better offensive clubs in the NBA, and it's been like that for the last couple of years. Dallas always seems to have a lot of sharp shooting and a lot of length that's hard to guard. 12-10 game now. I have KP on me as I dish this one off to Cade Cunningham and almost seal off Deshaun, so I basically did it all in that possession just to set up Cade, as I'm averaging 10.5 assists per game. So I'm trying to make it 2 straight seasons with that distinction of being the NBA's top assist man, as I grab my second rebound along with my 5 points and 5 assists. A very active first half thus far. Here's the first play, the first highlight of the second quarter, as this borderline 3-point jump shot will extend the lead up to 3. To be able to not only hang with a team like Dallas, but hold a lead for most of this game so far, it really goes to show how much progress we've made only in these last couple weeks, as I float over a pass to Julius Randle against the trap in the corner. Very good job keeping my eyes up there as KP tries to take the lead. No good, as he's facing his former team now, the New York Knicks. And look at this one. I will hand it off to Ferran, and he wants to fly. Can you take him far away? Ferran up there with the stars in the sky. How about another jam? I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the dunk contest along with the 3-point contest as we dwindle this third quarter down to only a couple of seconds. Now Trey Burke checks in, and this is a pretty advantageous matchup. Dwight Powell flies past me trying to block that shot to no avail. And it continues to be a very high scoring game. Dallas added Norman Powell in the free agency period last offseason, and they also drafted Tyrese Maxey, a very impactful young gun for Dallas and in real life for the 76ers. As look at this skip pass to Cade Cunningham to get us started. Another tray ball falls for Cade Cunningham, and I feel like us getting him better looks has been a really big reason why these last couple weeks of the season have been his best so far. Now on this possession, 5 seconds to go for Cade. I want him to take it to the basket or, hey, do something. And Cade will pull up from deep, no good, but KP clears out with an elbow to the face of Mitchell Robinson. And now Mitch is shaken up. He's slow to come back up to the other side of the floor. Dallas has had numbers, but they don't take advantage, as we actually do force a stop after Dwight Powell smokes this open jump shot. But yes, Mitch, as I throw up this pass, I fear the worst, and it comes to be true. A broken nose, it looks like, as Mitch is trying to hold back the blood from his nose of gushing out. And I want to get some revenge on KP for that dirty play. I put him in my personal little highlight reel. I get him moving, and the help defense comes. Nice little dish off to Julius Randle for the 3-point play. Always standing up for my teammates is something I make an effort to do, as this just got personal. Now Obi Toppin checks in as Mitchell Robinson has to come out after that free throw by Randle. And now continuing to punish Dallas down low is Cade Cunningham. A 3-point play opportunity the hard way on top of my hometown buddy Deshaun. And we continue to churn out points in bunches as a team. Now 89-86. Got Luka moving a little bit there, but I dish it off to Randle to try to set up this ISO. Instead, he will pull for another 3-point bomb. How about another 3-point possession for the Knicks, whether it's and ones or shooting it old school behind the arc. We are getting threes in bunches, but Dallas continues to keep pace. Down by 2, they get the stop they needed on Randle. And now here comes Luka, who's had a big second half, and it continues with the one-handed jam. Luka with that flush up to 33 points. Most of those have not been on me. They've been on our backup guards, but still I gotta try to toe in here and stop Luka from doing more damage. 92 apiece with 5 minutes to go in the ball game. I think like I'm gonna use that screen, and then Toppin tries to slip it, so I try to throw him a lob, which is a very errant pass at this stage in the ball game as Luka drives. The help comes from Cade, but you cannot leave a 45% 3-point shooter open in the form of Deshaun Christian. Wouldn't be surprised to see him joining Ferran in the 3-point shootout around All-Star Weekend time. So Dallas with a huge shot there, takes the lead back by 3. They have the reins of this ball game again here at home. I set a screen for Ferran, and now he's hacked by Dwight Powell. And this is the type of game where rivalry starts. A lot of chippy plays by Dallas. We've seen this from them in the playoffs whenever I was on New Orleans. Now on a different team, not much has changed. But Ferran shakes off that nonsense, knocks down 2 for 2. You know him, he loves being the villain role. That's when he thrives. Now 4 seconds to go on this possession. Cade now with a confident shot. Everybody getting some work here late in the ball game. 97-95. New York Knicks back on top. Cade Cunningham continues to turn heads along with Julius Randle. Those two really having their best games recently has been all the difference recently. And now we see Luka Doncic with a scoop layup, tying it back up at 97 apiece. Here in this episode, we are getting 2 crazy games for the price of 1. 1:40 to go left on the clock. It's 97 up. A floppy screen there for Ferran does not free him up, and then Cade tries to throw a backdoor oop to Randle, and that is blocked. So I have to try to improvise there at the end of the shot clock, as that one is sent back. And then the young gun Tyrese Maxey shoots us up in transition. Dallas, a 3-point advantage. So many threes here down the stretch. They continue to turn the momentum from team to team, and now Dallas are starting to feel themselves. And a huge storyline here. Mitchell Robinson checks back in with tissue still in his nose, trying to stop the bleeding from his nose. He checks back in, and he's actually going to be the one giving me not 1 but 2 screens here on this possession. First one doesn't free me up, but we try to reset it and do it again with 8 on the shot clock. 7, 6. Come on, Mitch, set me a good one. 4 seconds left. Inside the teeth of the defense. It goes. And 1. Thank you, Mitch, for that screen. KP, that's what you get for how you've played today. And all the nonsense that Dallas has given us. A huge 3-point play opportunity. And it all comes down to the free throw. And I've definitely changed my fortunes from the charity stripe in this episode. I struggled last episode, but I've been knocking them down at a high rate recently, and that continues. It's knotted up at 100 apiece, but Luka's not going anywhere. There's just times when you play at this level of basketball where a guy will put a move on you, and you're just like, how in the world do I stop that? 37 for the Slovenian product. 102, 100. We got seconds left to play now. Here's Ferran at the top of the key. I'm flashing along with Cade as Cunningham receives the ball. He'll go one-on-one against Deshaun. He'll stop and pull. This one was a good look as Mitch is in there fighting, but the shot is off. Robinson couldn't collect it. Good box out by Dwight Powell. And I was a little bit too aggressive there, but Dallas not in the bonus. We're still not in the penalty, thank goodness. So we still have a chance here on defense. 27 ticks left. Doncic again will attack, and I just need more help than that. Doncic just absolutely babies me time and time again around the rim, and it continues here down the stretch. A huge fourth quarter for Doncic, and we're down by 4 with one more chance to potentially keep the game alive and keep these lights on. Let's see, 104 to 100. This is kind of a sloppy inbounds play, but somehow I find myself leaking open for 3. A wonderful look, but the rim does not do me any favors. How did that bounce out? Oh, another contending team that we hang with, but we just cannot close the door. And we come up short, 105 to 100 against the Mavericks here. But once again, another valiant effort, and just the fact that we hang with a team like this, who night in and night out yearly, they're always a contending team. That definitely goes to show that this has been by far our best stretch of games in the entire season. As you see there, Mitchell Robinson, a small amount of points with that broken nose. Meanwhile, Doncic was a basket away from 40 points, and Deshaun with 27. Those two guys combined for almost half of Dallas's points. So we're here at the end of the episode. It's been a fun one though. With our recent stretch of games, we have whirled our way back to almost 500. We could have been 500 if we pulled out that Dallas game, but we're gonna have to wait till next time to see if we can bring that to fruition. But we're back, only one game out of the eighth seed after coming into this episode, 13th in the conference. And of course, we're only a game out thanks to our rivals, the Boston Celtics. Of course, who else? Anyway, what a crazy episode this was. So glad you can join me. Take a look at my stats. Hopefully You guys agree that I should be selected for my second straight All-Star appearance, but we're going to have to see as All-Star game is rapidly approaching. Time's starting to run out on the season, but I think with this episode today, we put ourselves in a really good position to start competing. Julius Randle and Obi Toppin and Cunningham have all been saviors for this team in this episode, and I can't wait to get back with you here on the road to NBA 2K21 next time. So thanks for joining me, and stay tuned, everybody.